Good morning, dear student. Welcome once again to the SRBPS online classes. Today we are going to discuss compound interest. Right. So, in our previous class, we have discussed about that the simple interest is calculated on principal only. Right. It is calculated on principal only, and it is called simple because it remains same throughout the loan period. But on the other hand, when we are talking about compound interest, compounding means when we are getting the two things or three things together, right? So here the compound interest means when we are compounding the interest. And how we are compounding the interest? Here the interest is being calculated on not only the principal but as well as on the previous year's interest. So that is the main point of consideration here. Let's get to understand this by using one example. So now let's take an example. Let's suppose the principal is ₹1000, rate of interest is 10%, and the duration for which the loan is taken, that is 3 years. Now I wanted to calculate the amount at the end of third year, at the rate of 10% per annum compoundedly, right? Always when the question is about compound interest, this word is always written, the interest is compounded annually. So now let's solve it. We know that how to calculate the interest for 1 year. So let's start calculating it. Because it is compound interest, so we cannot use the formula, the direct formula for finding out the simple interest like PRT for 3 years. So we will use the same formula but for 1 year, right? So we will write the interest for 1 year. If I am going to calculate the interest, so my principal is ₹1000, right? The rate is 10%, and for what duration I am going to calculate? For the duration 1. So the interest will be ₹100, right? So that means we have to pay, or the person have to pay ₹100 as interest for the first year, right? So it means if I am going to calculate what will be the amount at the end of first year, will be the principal of first year and the interest of first year, right? So the principal was ₹1000 and the interest is ₹100. So it means if I am going to pay it right after 1 year, so I have to pay ₹1100, right? But the duration is 3 years and we are talking about compound interest, compounded annually. So now after the first year you will get to know what does exactly the compounding means. As I've already said, compound interest, when we are talking about, it means the interest is calculated not only the principal but the interest of the previous year as well. So to make it easier, what we are doing, we are making the amount of first year as the principal of second year, right? Because when I will make the amount of first year as the principal of second year, so it will definitely going to include the principal, the actual principal, as well as the interest, right? So what we will write, the principal of second year will be equal to the amount of first year, right? So now here the principal will become ₹1100. So I will continue the same method. Now for the second year I am going to calculate the interest, but not on 1000 but on 1100. So here you can see 1100 means 1000 plus 100. So on 1000 also the interest will get calculated as well as on interest. So the interest for second year will be equal to the same principal as 1100 now, rate remains same and the time period is 1 year. I'm going to calculate for second year, not for 2 years but for second year. So now the answer will be 110 rupees. Now you can see the difference. When we were talking about simple interest, the interest was coming same for the every year, for the every year, the number of years that for which we have taken the loan, right? As we have discussed that example, that 500 for 1 year, for 2 years it will be 10,000, for 3 years it will be 15,000. But now in this case, for the first year the interest is 100 rupees, but for the second year the interest has become 110, and that 10 difference has come due to the reason we have added interest into the principal amount, right? So the amount for second year now, the amount for second year will be the principal of second year plus the interest of second year. Here the principal of second year is rupees 1100, right? And the interest of second year is rupees 110. So here what we get? We get rupees 1210. Now this amount of second year will become the principal for third year, right? Principal for third year. The amount of second year will become the principal of third year. So rupees 1210. We are going to calculate the interest for third year, right, by using the same formula, that is rupees 1210 multiply 10% for 1 year. So it will be 121. So now again we will find now the final amount after the third year will be the principal of third year plus the interest of third year. So the interest of third year is this. So now we will add it. So when we will add it, we will get 1210 plus 121. So the answer would be 1331. So here you can see that now after 3 years, the amount which is going to pay on rupees 1,000 at the rate of 10% compounded annually for the duration 3 years will be 1,331, right? So this is the way the compound interest works. Let me explain you by doing the same calculation as a simple interest case. If the same things will be used to calculate the simple interest, let's see what will be the difference. We know that the formula will be PRT upon 100. Here the principal is rupees 1,000. Rate will remain same 10%. You can notice I have erased compounded here because in case of simple interest no compounding is done. And for the duration for 3 years, because simple interest will remain same for the whole duration, that's why we are taking the time period at the same time only, right? So the answer will be rupees 300. So now you have seen when we have taken the compound interest case, so the amount that has come is rupees 1,331. But in this case, if I will calculate the amount, so principal plus I, when I will add, so 1,000 plus 300 will give me 1,300. So here in this case, in the case of simple interest, the amount has come rupees 300. So you can see the difference between the both, and that difference has come due to the concept, due to the fact that the interest is being calculated on interest also, right? And because of that reason it is benefited over in the case of compound interest. So I hope you understand the difference between the compound interest and the simple interest. Now in the next video, is how we can shorten up the whole long procedure to calculate the compound interest in a short formula. So stay happy. Bye bye.